The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
Hello and welcome back to the Grappuchino Thoughts podcast. As always, I'm your host Lexi Helms. I am the Prin of the With Johners podcast network. I am member of the Brood, Plastic Scouser, and of course, I am the author of the fantastic, if I do say so myself, Grappuchino Thoughts articles found on the With Johners website at WrestlingWithJohners.com. Today I am joined once again by somebody who I've known for a long time. You might even know him from last episode actually. Carlos Connelli, Drewers, if I do slip up and call him that. This guy is the friend that I have that has a nickname, and to call him by anything other than that nickname is just weird. It's just one of them.
I've been called a lot worse.
Well, you know.
Yep.
So if you've missed it, Carlos, just take a couple of seconds to introduce yourself again.
Yeah, my name's Carl. I'm also known as Carlos Connelli. I DJ a radio show called Channel.Connelli, which is on Radio D-Side, 6 till 8 on a Tuesday and a Thursday, and also on Wonderland Radio, 8 till 10. So we play lots of rock, punk, and alternative, and have a little bit of fun. We also use Ric Flair's theme tune on the show as well, so there's a little bit of wrestling in there as well. Not much, but wrestling does get mentioned, so have a listen and see what you think.
Excellent. Right, I'm not going to talk about the Grappuchino Machine. It's still pouring from last episode because we're doing these back to back. I've got a refresh of mine. Drewers has as well. So if you're sat comfortably and we're ready to go, let's deep dive into this week's topic, which is It's the World Cup final of professional wrestling. It is the Christmas or Thanksgiving meal. It is the big night out to end all big night out. It is, of course, time to start pointing at signs, people, because, ladies and gentlemen, we are in WrestleMania season.
Whoa, WrestleMania.
Do you know what? Genuinely, I love that song.
Yeah. And
it was great until Linda McMahon started using it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still listen to Slam Jam, though, can't you?
Yeah, to be fair. Guilty pleasure, but there we go. Right. So, before we deep dive into this year's WrestleMania, Carl, Drewers, what was your first WrestleMania?
First one I remember, sadly, WrestleMania 9. First one I remember. I remember 7, I didn't see 8, and I remember 9. Right. Mainly because of the kind of the pageantry and everything that was going on there.
That was the one in Vegas, wasn't it?
It was the one at Trump Plaza outside. So
the Roman theme.
Yeah, where Jim Ross first came in.
Ah.
And Bobby Heenan came out backwards on the camel.
Yeah.
So that's the first I remember.
The one where you'll see a better title defence than Liverpool's current Premiership title defence.
Oh no. I can't say anything because my team's non-league, so yeah.
I'm sorry, I had to. I'm still like on cloud 9. I'm still like, we did what? You are? We did what? Anyway, we'll carry on. I don't remember that much from WrestleMania 9.
I don't remember much about it either. I remember mainly the awful Undertaker Giant Gonzalez match.
Yeah.
It was the one where Brett and Yoko for the title.
Yeah.
And then Hogan came out and was all heroic and beat him within seconds, and not much else really happened.
I don't remember anything of that match apart from Hogan's eye. I couldn't remember why.
Thin Hogan. Yeah.
Couldn't work out why he had a black eye.
It was he had an accident, didn't he, on the on a motorboat thing. Say motorboat, it's like I don't know what they call, but yeah.
Jet ski.
Jet ski, that's it, yeah. Motorboat in the eye, it's like nipple in the eye. You don't need that.
See, taking this down a different road, is that the same incident which led to Brutus, the Barber Beefcake, wearing the plate on his face?
Well, he done that before that. I'm only going on what I remember now, because they did. I think that they were against Money Inc. that night as well, because Money Inc. tried to Brutus to come back.
Yeah.
Money Inc. tried to hit him with a loaded briefcase.
Yeah.
And then Jimmy Hart turned on them to go with Hogan and Brutus. So they were challenging for the tag titles. They didn't win them, and then Hogan came out at the end.
Get ya.
But no, the Brutus thing happened years before. Similar thing, but as far as I remember, Hogan was on a jet ski, and he got over it and cut his face. But his parasailing was the Brutus Beefcake one.
Huh.
And I think it was something to do with someone's knees straight into his face.
Ow.
As far as I remember, and if I'm wrong, I apologise, but I'm pretty sure it happened with somebody's knees straight in his face. So it sounds awful.
Yeah. Right, we'll move on very, very quickly then onto a happier subject. What is your favourite WrestleMania moment?
Favourite WrestleMania moment? So I mean, we kind of talked about it last week, really, a little bit with the kind of Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit part was great, but obviously it's not. I think probably Bret at WrestleMania 10, because there was a big Bret Hart guy. So when he won the championship after losing earlier on in the night, that was a big one. As a kid, the Ric Flair, retirement, superb. Tears for that one. But I think for me, the biggest one, Brock beating Undertaker. I marked out like an idiot. I was like, I don't believe this.
Interesting.
And I love Brock Lesnar. I think he's awesome. I think he's fantastic. But I thought it was a great match. But that moment, I was gobsmacked. And as an adult, I thought it's not going to happen, and it did.
Yeah. That is one thing I will give credit for. Was that it happened. Do I think that Brock Lesnar deserved it?
No, it should have been somebody else. But it was a big moment. I also quite like the a couple of years back. I can't remember which WrestleMania it was. Hogan was out, Rock was out, and Austin was out right at the start. And that was great fun. Also,
where it was the one after Hulk Hogan fucked up the location because they were all taking the piss out of him. Yeah,
and also when the NWO came down, when it was Triple H versus Sting, and obviously it's an older version, but as a younger wrestling fan, if that happened 20 years before, you would have absolutely lost it.
Absolutely,
some good WrestleMania moments.
Yeah. Some of them made me feel warm and fuzzy. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Right then, this is a question that I think will change no matter when I ask you. Top 3 WrestleManias.
Right, I'm gonna have to use my phone for this because I can't remember the whole cards. But it's WrestleMania 10, WrestleMania 18, and 24.
Okay.
24 as well. So they're the 3 I'd go with.
WrestleMania 10.
Yeah.
I remember it for the ladder match.
That's one of the reasons. Yeah, absolutely.
Between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon.
Yeah, mainly because they didn't use it as they do now. It wasn't, it wasn't used so much as a weapon. It was used as a part of the match, but it wasn't the main thing, and that's what I liked about it. It was a good story for them.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got Bret and Owen at the start, which is a superb match. Yeah. There's a bit of filler on there as well, but obviously, as a Bret Hart fan at the time, I really wanted him to go over, over Yoko, and it happened, which was great.
Yeah.
But there was some rubbish on there as well. Just quickly get the card up on my phone. Bam Bam and Luna versus Doink and Dink.
Okay.
Which was what it was. One that's forgotten quite a bit. Savage versus Crush in a Falls Count Anywhere match. It was a pretty brutal match, actually.
Interesting.
The ladies got 3 minutes with the Alundra Blaze versus Lilana Kai.
Yes.
And then Men on a Mission over the Quebecers.
Oh wow! Okay.
Featuring Johnny Polo. So you had Raven was out there. Yoko beat Lex.
Okay.
14 minutes though. I mean, for those two, it's a pretty plodding match. And then Earthquake, 35 seconds beat Atom Bomb. He's a man I thought would have done a lot better.
Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah. You Atom Bomb I thought was when he was around was the shit. He looked amazing.
Yeah,
then obviously you got Razor and Shawn, and then you got Brett over Yoko after that.
Excellent.
That's where I go with. I can't remember cards very well, which I said to you earlier on. I'm terrible at remembering those details. But for me, the ladder match and the Brett Owen one were two of the best matches ever. So I thought they were both very, very good matches.
You see, I found it very interesting that you went WrestleMania 18. If I was asked, one of my top 5 has to be WrestleMania 17, and just like yourself, I can't remember all of the card. And I said this to you off air as well. It's not to do with the card per se. It's to do with the feeling about it. It's to do with how I felt around it. You know, like real talk, because I am this old now. I hate to fucking say it, but I am this old. I actually had 2 recorded versions of WrestleMania 17, and it was because I wore out one of the videos because I watched it that much. But for me, WrestleMania 18 is Hogan versus The Rock.
Yep.
And that's about it. That's all I remember from it.
See, the thing I like about it most is Undertaker versus Flair. I thought the story before that was fantastic. I liked the fact that Undertaker was going to make Ric Flair great again, and that he was down in the I think it was Heartland Wrestling at the time, and destroyed David Flair. Absolutely kicked his ass everywhere. I thought the story was fantastic. It was a good match at the start with the RVD versus Regal as well.
Oh, nice.
You had Scott Hall versus Austin. So really looking back on it, it's not a bad card.
Yeah, to be fair.
But 17 for me was very, very good. But I think everyone holds it in a higher esteem than the rest. And I think it's a very good pay-per-view. I just don't think it's quite got that. The story the Rock and Hogan, I remember watching it more then. I think it's probably because I was watching more wrestling than before. Watching it from when they came, and the NWO came back in all the way through. And it just, the whole story I thought was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, DDP in there as well versus Christian. I love DDP. He wasn't used very well, but he was against Christian for the European Championship on that night as well.
Wow, we like DDP in this house, but there are times when we hate DDP, and that's because I do DDP yoga now. So if I pull a face whenever you mention DDP, it's genuinely not. It's like, oh, I've got to do that at some point today.
See, I used to get told off all the time because I used to. My girlfriend at the time, I used to mimic the it's me, it's DDP all the time. So I'd run through the house and I'd run up to her and go, it's me, it's Carlos C. And they were like, shut up. She used to hate it. And funnily enough, we're not together anymore, so that's good.
Oh, that's ace, though. That's ace. You need to bring that into your show again.
It might happen. I'm going to record it tomorrow. It might happen tomorrow.
It has to. Right. So, pulling it back to sort of this year's WrestleMania, although we didn't find out why 24 was in your...
No, 24 was good. You got Michaels versus Flair, which was just, it's superb. Let me go back to the other ones because...
Big Dave versus The Undertaker were on that.
Yeah, it was. It was a decent match.
To be fair.
You had Layfield versus Finlay, which is pretty hard. It's Belfast Brawl, so it's pretty...
Yeah, to be fair, that was quite brutal.
But you've got your Money in the Bank as well, which Punk won.
Nice.
It's always good fun. Obviously, Shelton Benjamin in there doing all this crazy stuff, which he normally does.
Yeah.
Dave beat Umaga.
Interesting.
Yeah. Kane had 11 seconds to win the ECW Championship.
Fair point.
Not good. Obviously, Michaels and Flair. Beth Phoenix and Melina versus Ashley and Maria, which is Playboy Lumberjill, which is just a waste of time.
Yeah, it was a great match.
Orton over Big John.
Yeah.
Again, and Triple H, of course, triple threat. And you had Floyd Mayweather versus Big Show as well, which wasn't bad. And
you forget the MVPs of the night, the Evertonians on the second row away from the camera.
If
you listen, seriously, if you ever go back and watch it, just listen, because there's one point where they're chanting "Feed the Yak" and he will score. which had me in stitches. And then somewhere on my old laptop, there's a picture and it's a screenshot from it. And it's Big Dave in the corner and somebody's holding a sign that says "Feed the Yak." And I was like, that's it. Someone walked into my mind, that's it.
That's the most success they've had in years, isn't it?
Yeah, to be fair. Yeah. Anyway,
Ryan Reynolds, Barbie Army. Sorry.
Oh my God, I can't get my head around that either. I genuinely cannot get my head around it. But anyway, we'll move on. You can talk about.
We don't do football. Let's do wrestling.
Oh, let's do wrestler. You'll remember wrestler.
Yeah. On Pedwarek.
Yeah, you see, in the Turnbuckle Arms, I was speaking to them about it, and they all looked at me and they were like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "My people will know. My people will know."
See, there was 2 programs you could watch on there. There was also that and Scorio as well, which was like the Welsh football program.
Yes.
So you had wrestler and Scorio. So it's not hard to work out, is it? And
occasionally you'd have club rugby.
Well, I'm Welsh, but I'm not a rugby guy. Never really got rugby. I don't understand it. I will. One day I'll go and watch it live, and I'll understand it completely. Until then, don't get it.
One of them.
Yeah.
One of them. Right. Let's pull it back to Wrestlo. Right. It's been announced in the last sort of week. I'll remind everyone we are recording this on the 21st of March. So guest hosts. It's been announced that it's going to be Titus O'Neil and Hulk Hogan that are hosting it. So we're going to break it down into 2 questions. The first one is thoughts on who they've announced. And then the next one's going to be, do guest hosts enhance or detract from the show?
It's not surprising, really, that Hogan's involved. He needs to be involved somehow. Titus O'Neil, he's Titus O'Neil. He's known for one thing, and that's falling under the ring. He's entertaining enough. I don't see any issue with it at all. Do they bring anything? I think they do when there's a crowd there.
Yeah.
I thought that last year's was atrocious. I didn't like Rob, whatever his name was. Again, he didn't bring anything to the show. I think with them being wrestling guys, they might bring a little bit, but without Hogan will go out there without a pop, without getting all 5 minutes of Hogan. I don't see it's going to make a massive difference to this one. I would have probably kept him for maybe the year after if the crowd. However, they are looking, and I'm sure there's something we're going to talk about as well, at getting a crowd in there. Yeah. In which case, it might change things completely.
Well, I will earwig directly into the next question then. So, at the time of recording this, there's still a lot of sort of doubt, rumour, whatever. One of the figures that they've put out there about having 27,000 fans in the arena has changed. It started out at 27. The figure that's going around at the moment is about 25k. Is it irresponsible of WWE to have a crowd, given the global situation that's going on? Is it irresponsible of them to have a crowd for WrestleMania?
I think it was irresponsible of the Super Bowl to do it, because there was no way in the world that WWE were going to let them, do that without doing something themselves. I think that if it was kept as it was, wrestling isn't the same without fans. Last WrestleMania wasn't WrestleMania to me. That's the lost WrestleMania. Sadly, because there's some decent matches on there. Yeah. But they were allowed to do something different, which is great. But is it irresponsible? I think that if all the, if everyone's had a vaccination, if everyone's checked when they go in there, I think that's the only way forward for now. I think that people want a release now. People need a release.
Yeah.
I live down the road from you. I haven't seen you for ages. I've got friends who I haven't seen anyone for ages. I've seen a friend who lives up the road. When we were allowed to, we were allowed to go out in like 4s.
Yeah.
We go to the pub, me and a friend.
Yeah.
That was the only person I'd really seen properly for a year, apart from my workmates, and my kids. So that's it, really. So people want that release. They want to be able to go out and enjoy themselves. In Britain, when the pubs and things open, it will be stupid. And I don't even want to even think about it. But
yeah,
for me, going to a wrestling match, going to a football match, going to a gig, going to a show, they're part of life for me. And obviously wrestling fans they are. So if it's done safely and people aren't stupid, there was no real uptake, I believe, after the Super Bowl. If it can be done the same way now, I can't see it being a bad thing. Wrestling with fans there is always good. That's why I like watching AEW, because you've got that sound there. You got some sort of there's something there.
Yeah, I mean, you were saying before about, if they could, do the checks and everything. Are WWE as a company going to, if they fall behind on their checks for everyone, are WWE going to turn around and say, oh, well, we can't start WrestleMania because our fans aren't in because we haven't checked? Or are they just going to go, fuck it, just start them? If they miss out, miss out.
I mean, Vince started, you kept the show going after somebody died. I can't see him not getting the people in there. I think the people should be kind of checked well beforehand. If this, they've talked about this vaccination pass or passport, whatever it's called. Yeah. If that's available, I mean, my dad's had his two jabs now, so he's got this thing saying that.
Nice.
Life's got to go back to normal at some point, and I know that people are wary of the way the British government are doing it, and they're saying certain dates and things, but as long as the people who are more kind of worried about over 50s, over 60s, over 70s, as long as they're looked after, can we live with it as it is? It's not good either way, the way you think about it, but I like the fact that have fans there. Whether or not it's a good idea is, I think next year will be great, because hopefully we'll be back to normal. The same middle of this year. I can't see that at all. No. I've got gigs booked for July, which was booked 2 years ago, and I don't think they're going to happen. Yeah. But I think maybe September, October time we might be able to, and that'd be great. But I think that it's nice having the fans there. I just don't think that at the moment it's the best idea.
Yeah.
But if they can do it safely, great. But if they can't guarantee the safety, I don't think it's a great idea, because the way the world is.
It's not just the safety of the fans either. It's the safety of every single person in that arena, irrespective of whether it's an open or closed arena. I think it's open from what I remember seeing. You've got people like Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens was very, very vocal last year about the fact that people didn't wear masks and stuff like that. You had people like Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, that went home essentially because they didn't feel safe, and that's their right to. From what I understand as well, it won't be international fans. It will just be American fans.
Yeah, because people can't get over there, so that makes more sense.
But I don't know if they're going to have it and they're going to have it in place. Great, I tip my hat to them. Fair play to them. It's great, but only if it's safe. Because
but you have to look at the last year with the riots and things that happened. I know they happened for good reasons, or we won't go into politics and things like that. But people are going to do these things without masks on, and they're going in the middle of a pandemic. Now people are getting vaccinated, and there's less people with this horrible disease. Yeah. Is it safer now to do that than have X amount of people on the streets?
Yeah,
they couldn't stop that because it's their right. However,
but on the flip side of that, from a corporate side of things, they have WWE as a company has a corporate responsibility.
Yes, and that needs to keep everyone safe.
Yeah. So if they just went, oh, do you know what? Forget it. We're just going to do it anyway. Is that, in terms of ethics, in terms of whatever, right to do, or should they be like,
maybe not right, but they are trying to give people that release that they need, and WrestleMania is always a big thing no matter what, and you're always going to enjoy it, and I think people need that back in their lives. If it could have been 4 months later, 5 months later, then maybe I would agree with it more. it's great that fans will be there. If they're going to be there either way, then great.
Yeah.
But I would have rather it been a bit later on.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. I mean, for me as well, having the family of performers there and those that work backstage, that would be a nice little thing for them to have, because you could control it, because they'd be there earlier in the day, so you could test everyone, send tests out or whatever beforehand and stuff like that. But it's one of them.
All we can do is see. This is the problem. We don't know how it's going to go. Hopefully it all goes well. That'd be the ideal situation. However, if it all goes well, then how hard are they going to push people to go back?
Yeah.
So I hope it goes well for them, and I hope that obviously it doesn't get passed on or anything. But I would be very wary then of people trying to be brought back into stadiums and things. Until I know that the Britain are doing very well with vaccinations, but I know America isn't. I've got a few friends over there who say it's just very, very slow.
Yeah.
And it will be. It's not going to be done overnight, but I think next year's WrestleMania would be something special. It'd be great.
Yeah. I mean, even if it's just for American and Canadian fans to be in attendance, that might be the way that they do it. And then we're talking WrestleMania, in 2023 being the return to what it was. I know that, I think I was reading the other day, and I can't remember what promotion it was, but they've started booking shows for sort of late summer, early September in America, and I can't remember whether it's NXT or AEW. One of them have. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I know that TNT Wrestling in Liverpool, they're starting to try and get some things back, and I've seen a few times. Really, really good. Very, very entertaining. Yeah. And I'm hoping to go back there. But again, they will do everything to say that it's safe and to do everything to put everything into procedures in place. They're a very professional company, and certainly well worth watching, as I said. But I personally wouldn't want to go there until I was comfortable. So you might not see the numbers go. I think that the people who will go to the pub on the first night are the people who will go to the football on the first day, who will go to the wrestling on the first day. Yeah. People like myself might wait a little while.
Yeah.
So it all depends on the person, I think.
Yeah, I agree, because I'll be honest with you, I miss going to wrestling. I miss last year. Last year we should have gone to see NXT Takeover Blackpool.
Yeah.
We didn't get the tickets because we were like, oh, it's all right, there'll be another chance. Yeah. And look what happened. But this year, if you follow the timeline of us following Ghost, we should be going to see them this year, because we've seen them every sort of 2 years now.
Yeah. On
the bounce. Will it happen? Don't know. I've got Papa 4 to meet. Do you know what I mean? But meeting Papa 4 or my health.
Yeah, and it's not just your health. Then it's people who you're in contact with.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very, very tricky. I was going to see Social Distortion last summer. I've never seen them before. One of my favourite bands, never seen them, and they got brought back to this July.
Yeah.
Now, it's how much I want to go and see them as to if it will be safe to go. The government is saying there'll be no social distancing measures at that point. Is it worth it? I've paid the money for it, but we'll see. We'll see.
But at the time of recording, mainland Europe, have gone into another lockdown.
Yeah.
The last time I read something on it was that Paris had now gone into lockdown.
It's all very, very difficult until we get there. We just don't know. So, but hopefully hopefully the wrestling will come back and we'll be doing some good things.
Fingers crossed. Right. Coming back then to this year's WrestleMania, is there anyone that you can think of on the current roster, it doesn't matter whether it's NXT, Raw, SmackDown, that you want to see on the WrestleMania card? And if so, why?
Adam Cole, baby!
Yeah.
Yeah. Just anything to get something like Adam Cole on there would be brilliant. I'd love it if Undisputed Era come on there and just destroy everyone.
Yeah.
But, I don't think there's anyone else out there that I can really think that's not in WWE at the moment. I'd love for something like, to have a big coup and get somebody over from AEW, because obviously they're taking a lot of people over there, but it's not going to happen because with them working with Impact now, they're doing okay on their own.
Yeah. I think, and this is me fantasy booking, but if I can't have AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels, I will quite happily take AJ Styles versus Adam Cole.
Oh, yeah.
Quite happily.
Yeah.
And listen, if they want to go that far and Shawn Michaels wants to erase fucking Crown Jewel from everyone's memories,
I wish he would.
Have a triple threat match: Adam Cole, AJ Styles, Shawn Michaels. Yeah. That's your way to say goodbye. That's your way to say sorry. That was fucking bullshit. There we go. Go from there.
Or alternatively, you could go NXT versus WWE War Games.
Oh.
I mean, it's never going to happen at WrestleMania, but imagine if you could have your NXT team and you could have your WWE team.
But then the question is, how would you book that in terms of NXT? Would you have NXT America, or would you have NXT as is plus NXT UK?
I don't think UK is big enough at the moment as a brand.
If NXT could have Walter on that team, and this is the thing: where does the division between the two NXT brands lie?
Well, it depends what you want to do with him, because if you're making him this champion on the brand, and he could be quite easily made by going in there, destroying everyone, and not losing the belt and just holding the belt up. There's plenty of people there who can do it, who are not going to beat him, but who could hold the belt. You give it to somebody like Tyler Bates straight away or whoever, and then have people work towards that. But Walter could be made completely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he should, because he's for what he's doing at the moment. He's some great matches. The problem I would have is that if he goes up to not necessarily NXT but to WWE, are they going to water him down too much?
Probably.
That's the issue.
Probably.
I don't think for him he needs that. I think if they're going to pay him the money, NXT's as much as he needs to do.
Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah, and I'd love to see, say, a Walter versus Brock match. I'd love to see that.
Yeah,
I would fight.
Yeah, just a proper, as JR would say, a proper slobber knocker.
Yeah, but you'd have to give it a little bit of time.
Yeah,
I think.
I'd love to see him on this year's WrestleMania card, even if it's on the pre-show defending the UK Championship. If they had to do it where they recorded it at the BT Sport facilities that they used to tape NXT UK, even if they did that and spliced it in, I'd be happy.
To be honest, I'd be quite happy just put the match versus Dragunov on there and just show that to the world, because it was superb.
Yeah.
That was almost like a lot of the kind of European and British style matches, which you don't get, there. And the brutality of it, the storytelling was fantastic. Superb match.
Yeah. Yeah.
But don't try and do it again, because it just wouldn't work.
No.
It has to be that one.
Yeah, it has to be a one and done, because otherwise it'll lose its. I think that's kind of where they went wrong with Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles. Yeah. They tried to recapture something, and you were never going to get it in a WWE setting.
We've seen it tons of times with wrestlers, though. You get people who are, who have matches before in the past. You think to yourself, well, they'll have a good match again, and they probably have a decent match, but it's not what they remember.
Yeah,
and it's a shame.
I was at the UK Championship tournament the first night, and for me, I saw some great matches that night. I don't remember all of the matches.
No.
I remember the chants. I remember laughing so hard that at points I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
Because the chants were hilarious, and then finding out everyone's reaction on Twitter was fucking brilliant. But upsetting the Americans.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. But anyway.
Sorry if any Americans are watching.
Yeah, soz about that.
Sure there are.
Soz about that, but Like it was the one that was Are You Jesus in Disguise?
Yeah.
You know, that was the main one, and you know, we say it in jest.
You just shit Finn Balor and things like that.
Yeah, I fucking love that chant. Anyway, speaking of shit Finn Balor, do you think that the Cruiserweight title is going to be defended at WrestleMania?
No, don't think so.
Okay.
It's, again, for me, it's more of one of those things that the kind of more hardcore fans want to see. It's not really something that's been pushed enough on WWE programming to be a WrestleMania thing. I mean, you know, Devlin's
possibly.
No, I can't see it. I think if it was going to go anywhere beyond the NXT card, I think Devlin's very good. I know that there's been issues there, and hopefully that's all rectified. And but I'd like to see the Cruiserweight title, because obviously they've got the two, haven't they?
Yeah.
To unify them, that'd be good. But when that would happen, I don't know.
Like I knew as soon as it was announced that everyone was in lockdown, I said they will bring back the Cruiserweight Championship. They'll put it on somebody, and then they'll have a match to unify Jordan Devlin. Which, fair play, you know, they've made the best out of the situation that they can. I think that he would have been back sooner had certain allegations not been made.
Yep.
But it's one of them. Right. Coming back to this year's WrestleMania, off the top of my head, the matches that have been announced so far is Edge versus Roman Reigns for the Blue Universal title. We've got Sasha Banks versus EST, Bianca Belair, for the SmackDown Women's title. That's pretty much it. That's all I know.
Yeah. You got Drew versus Bobby Lashley.
There you go. Yeah, Drew versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE title.
Yep.
Will the New Day defend their titles at WrestleMania or not?
It's difficult at the moment because there's no real stories going on. It just doesn't seem to be. There's no flow to it at the moment.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know whether it's to do with how things are, but I can't see why they wouldn't. But who against?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think of who's champion at the moment. Like who holds the current championships. I don't know if Asuka is still Raw Women's Champion.
I think she is, but I'm not sure.
Because if you believe the rumours, obviously she's injured. She's not going to be able to compete for a while. I didn't actually find out why. I just know that she's injured. I think Big E is the Intercontinental Champion.
Yes, yep.
I don't know who the SmackDown Tag Team Champions are.
Do you know what? I'm not sure either.
I think Matt Riddle is the US Champion.
Yeah, but nothing was made of that at all.
Last time I heard it was Bobby Lashley, and the title looks fucking awful, but there we go.
It's not a nice looking belt.
It's not. It's this generation's ECW silver title, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's designed on a really old model of it, like the Intercontinental one is now. That's based on the original.
Oh,
if you go back, I used to be terrible for belts. I used to always check up on belts and things, and the old one is very much like that, but a very small version of it.
Right.
But the actual design is very similar. I think there is a US title out there that looks very similar to that one. It may be something like Mid-Atlantic or something like that, but there is one out there which looks very much like it.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's not nice.
Yeah, I mean, is Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler still the women's tag team champions?
This is the problem, see, because with you watch NXT for the wrestling. Yeah. You watch WWE for the storylines. The problem is the storylines haven't been there, and I've kind of gone off it a little bit. Not that I won't watch it, and I'll watch Fastlane's on tonight, and I'll try and watch some of that. But I'm not staying up for it. I'll watch it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if it was NXT, I'd probably try and stay up for it.
Yeah.
There's no real. The problem is at the moment is that it's WrestleMania. You'll watch it whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any kind of money matches this year, and it doesn't need to be. Really.
Yeah.
Next year is going to be a big year, or the year after maybe, but there's nothing really there for me to go, wow, I need to watch that. Last year wasn't really either. for me.
No.
But there was a few matches that you really wanted to see. You know, what AJ and Undertaker could do. And obviously you had Bray Wyatt versus John Cena. What's going to happen here? Yeah. And you had, Brock versus Drew. Is that going to happen? And but there's nothing really to excite me this year.
Well, I mean, last year as well, you had Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It will be interesting to see if the NXT title will be on the card this year.
I would like it to be, because I think they deserve it. But are they just going to keep it for their own pay-per-view? Maybe.
But then again, same sort of thing. The Rhea Ripley Charlotte match was on WrestleMania.
Well, yeah, I mean, they did kind of look at the fact that Edge could have gone for the NXT title a few weeks back, didn't they? So that was an idea. But I mean, it'd be great if he came, if whoever's the champion after the NXT Takeover comes out and says, "Look, it's WrestleMania. Yeah, I'm going to defend my belt. Who wants it?" Yeah, and then you get somebody like Daniel Bryan comes out, or you get somebody, a worker comes out and does something.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That'd be great. Or it could be anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask, is there anything that you're looking forward to?
No, at the moment.
At the moment, the only thing...
I'm looking forward to takeovers. That's all I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be 2 nights of it because it'll be too much. But I think that WrestleMania, there's nothing there that I'm thinking, I have to watch this. Yeah.
I mean, you've sort of led into one of the questions that I will ask in a sec. But, I mean, things like the pre-shows, will you be watching them? Will you...
I usually do, mainly because I'm waiting because it's so late on. I'm waiting for something to start. So WrestleMania's always been the one where I get some snacks through and get some drinks in and enjoy it. But this year I'm like, I don't know. I watch the pre-show because it's on. Yeah, I wouldn't go out my way for it. If I miss it, I miss it. I'm not bothered. But as I said, this year I might not even watch WrestleMania. Yeah, as a show, but I'll always catch up with it, and that's one of the good things about the network is you can watch it whenever you want to. Yeah. But one of the bad things is there's so much there that you can think, well, actually, do you know what? I'll go back and watch something that I want to watch. Yeah. So that's the other. It's kind of like catch-22, isn't it? Yeah. But I'll watch it because it's entertaining. They do put out some good stuff beforehand. If there's a match on there, great. Yeah. I enjoyed the Austin Aries one a couple of years ago, which is on the pre-show.
That broke my heart. That.
It's just sad.
You could see that Austin Aries was like, this is bullshit.
And then obviously he's gone straight away after that. So it's... Yeah. Makes sense.
Like that look down the camera, you knew that he was just saying, I'll see you later. This is the last time you're going to see me here. Fuck you.
But he's had his moment, which is great. But I mean, I enjoyed the match. And people just coming in and finding the seats, and it's like, it's just sad for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Right. Okay. So I'm going to change things ever so slightly. Okay. With WrestleMania now being split over the 2 nights and NXT being split over 2 nights as well, do you think that that's the format WWE are going to go for, certainly with WrestleMania and the whole weekend of it? Or do you think when the world goes back to normal, we'll have 1 night affairs again?
I hope it's 1 night. I mean, I don't think any wrestling show should really be over 4 hours. It's too much. But I think 2 nights. I was done in by the second night. I was done in by the second night completely. I think WrestleMania should be like all the big events, like the Super Bowl, like the FA Cup, like the World Series. It should be one night. Yeah. And it shouldn't be anything more than 4 hours, really. Get the matches in there that need to be in there. You're packing people in for packing people in's sake, and I get that. It's a WrestleMania payoff, but it's not something that you need. Get your big matches in there. Give them however long you need to. Give some people won't be wrestling for 20 minutes. Some people will get 10 minutes. Yeah. But I don't think it needs to be. I think the way they used to run it was fine. And then it was getting to a point where it's like, it's 4.5 hours and you get the pre-show and it's 5.5 hours. And it was getting too much. And I can see why they've had to do it. Yeah. But for me, it doesn't work.
Yeah. And that leads quite nicely into the next one. I've been quite vocal about this, but I wanted to get your thoughts about it. Do you think there's too much content? especially around WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
I've got it here. You've got 2 nights of WrestleMania, 2 NXT Takeover nights. You've got 2 Hall of Fame ceremonies in one night.
Yep.
You've got Raw, you've got Smackdown, you've got NXT, you've got NXT UK, plus all the pre-shows. How much is too much?
That's too much. That is too much. I mean, I don't see why Takeover's over 2 nights, and don't get me wrong, I'm quite happy with that because for me, it's the best out there. Yeah. But it is too much. I mean, there's no way that unless you are a hardcore fan who just watches wrestling, you're not going to want to sit there and watch it all because it will become too much at some point.
Yeah.
At night I try and watch a little bit before bed. I'll watch say an hour or so before bed.
Yeah.
Because I'm catching up on things, not because I necessarily want to, because I know I need to catch up on things. So, do you sit there for the best part of a day and a half?
Yeah.
Watching wrestling. It sounds like a good idea, but can you physically do it? Probably not.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. It's all very well and good on paper, writing it down in the breakdown that we have. Yeah. As a wrestling fan, I'm like, yes, fucking brilliant, loads of content. But then I actually think about the practicalities of it, and I'm like, if I want to see the Hall of Fame ceremony live, to watch Big Dave go in, to watch him cry like a bitch, sorry, but you will, son, it's you. Like, am I going to have to sit through 5.5 hours before it gets to you? Or am I going to waste an hour before it gets to you and then I have 20 minutes and then I can go to bed? I don't know.
Well, you don't. That's the thing with it. You could be sitting there to see who you want to see. Yeah. You could have 6 hours.
Yeah.
Quite easily.
I mean, I think that's one of the reasons as well why I'm not as bothered about WrestleMania anymore. If I have things spoilt for me in terms of social media, I don't really care. The only thing that I do care about having things spoilt for me is NXT.
Yep.
I
think a lot of people are getting that way as well. I think that if you like wrestling, you'll watch NXT. If you like sports entertainment, you watch WWE, and that's the way it is. So
the problem is, though, WWE now have made a rod for their own back, for lack of a better term, and they've gone all out with content. So the only way they're going to improve, in WWE's mind now, is to go bigger.
Yeah.
And don't forget as well, there's going to be documentaries as well that drop over WrestleMania week for, the likes of, I can see a documentary on Molly Holly being made, I can see a documentary on Big Dave being either redone or put up or whatever. Davey Boy Smith is another one. Eric Bischoff.
And to be honest, I probably watched them before WrestleMania.
Yeah. And as long as we've got Paul Heyman saying that Eric Bischoff is full of shit in that documentary, I'll be happy.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to say it because he says it all the time, but...
Yeah. But...
Eric Bischoff is full of shit.
I love
he
it.
says all the time.
It's great. It's great.
If I could have a moment, sir, of your time.
That's it. That's your next cosplay.
I mean, I've got the belly for it at the moment, so it's fine.
Oh no.
But not the hair. The hair's there, so.
Yeah, you'll have to do like a weird hybrid, 80s Paul Heyman and modern Paul Heyman.
I'll get like a really big cell phone. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll get one of you. I'll see if your brother still got his old ones from the late 90s.
Yeah, he probably has. So, how can you make it more fan friendly? Like looking forward, how do you make the whole spectacle of it more fan friendly
for this year?
In general.
I mean, in general, I think they do a very good job because obviously it's an experience. You're not going to a wrestling show; you go into an experience. You got days and days and days of it. I think they do a very good job of it. I know people who've been and they said they've had a superb time. They've done all the access stuff. They've been to shows around there. They went to something to wrestle show, and they went to I think an ROH show as well. I just had a good time. But you've got to go there in the mind of it's going to be wrestling.
Yeah.
Fan friendly as far as on the actual show itself. Just put some good matches on. But at the moment, I can't see anything that's going to steal the show. But you always got something. There's always something there that will steal the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think it was quite there last year. I think there was a few okay matches, but nothing that was, people like the Bray Wyatt and John Cena one. I personally, I didn't get it at all. I understood what they were doing. It was fun, but I didn't get it. And I like the Undertaker versus AJ Styles match, but there was nothing really for me that you think I need to go back and watch that again.
Yeah, I mean, for me, one of the moments of WrestleMania last year was Kevin Owens just jumping off the WrestleMania sign.
Yeah.
Because my thing now is, what is Kevin Owens? If he's on the card, what's he going to jump off of now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, and I hate using this cliche, but because there is a war between WWE and AEW, obviously that Stadium Stampede match, I felt was AEW going to WWE. Take that. Let's see where you can go from there. So of course, Kevin Owens likes jumping off of shit he shouldn't be jumping off of.
Yeah.
Where's it going to go?
It's difficult because at the moment you don't have that pop after it.
Yeah.
So do you need to do it now, or do you wait? Do you tease it? Do you keep teasing it until the fans are back and you're standing there and you're feeling it, and then all of a sudden you do it? Is it worth doing now? It's worth watching, but you have to have that pop after it, otherwise it loses a lot of it. And again, if it's done properly, why do you need to do it at all? Why don't you just rest? Because Kevin Owens is quite capable of having a great match with most people.
On the flip side of that, it's still that moment where you lose your mind. I mean, I think of Stadium Stampede, and I think of Kenny Omega giving the one-winged angel to Sammy Guevara.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I lost my shit. It gave me a moment to pop. But if there's no crowd there and we're still restricted in terms of what the audience can do in terms of participation, the world is your oyster. And the whole Bray Wyatt match universe that we've had is testament to that.
Oh yeah, I mean that's been one of the only good things to come out of it, really.
Yeah.
It's created something different. How they can do it when fans come back, I don't know. But it's been a good twist. Yeah.
And you could argue as well that actually they have the means to do it safer now.
Oh yeah.
Than if there were fans present.
Yeah.
But
wouldn't it be interesting if they come out of that with, and it was all a dream? Because that's the way to come out of it. Just say it was all a dream.
Yeah. Yeah. Dallas style, man.
I didn't think you picked that one up.
Oh yeah, Family Guy have referenced it enough to know.
There we go. Yeah, but no, I mean you could do something silly like that. You don't know. I mean, obviously it's going to be difficult to do certain things now. With kind of who's left available with the kind of Wyatt family, but you don't know. He can go between kind of more of a clean cut thing. So it's
yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to think while you were talking as well. It looks like we're going to have a Shane McMahon match at WrestleMania, like Shane McMahon probably versus Braun Strowman.
Yeah,
probably. Depends on what happens tonight and the shenanigans that may or may not happen. And it's like, do we need a Shane O'Mac match?
No, not really. It'll just be some bad punches and then jump off something.
Yeah.
And he's back in the day. He can work fine. But at his age now, he doesn't need to be doing it. He doesn't need to be doing these crazy. I mean, jumping off the top of the cell. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's stupid to do, and I get why they do it, but it's been done before. Why do it again? Why chance really hurting yourself? What can he possibly do to top what he's done before?
Yeah,
And he will, and that's always the way he works things. It's a shame because he can have a half decent match. You saw with Kurt Angle and things like that. I know it's going back a few years, but yeah,
you know, that match with AJ for me. I looked at Matt looked at me, and I was like, "That is the match of the night. That's what's got us." You know, I suppose it's who you're against. You know,
of course it is. Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
so I think what should happen is if he's going to say go against Strowman, is to get the kid who won the tag team belts with him to come in.
Yeah,
and you know, you kind of get in the way, and then you know, Braun beaten from that or something. Just something different, something like something a little bit different.
Tie it together.
Yeah.
Oh, the kid's name was Nicholas. I'm sure
Nicholas. It was Nicholas.
There you go. Yeah. But you know, I mean, there's rumours. You know where it's like when it gets to this time of the year. Everyone's saying, such and such is getting called up from NXT and stuff like that. You know, I think it would be great if the Undisputed Era put their things to one side and just dominated over the Hurt Business, to be honest with you, on Raw.
Yeah.
But it's one of them, you know.
I can't see it happening the way they're working that angle at the moment. I don't think it's going to happen. But getting the Hurt Business has been more entertaining than what I give them credit for.
Yeah.
You know, I love Shelton. I think he's awesome. MVP's been fantastic.
The guys now.
Ain't no stopping him now. But the other guys, I mean, they've all been very good. I've really enjoyed them. I didn't think I would because I never really got MVP before. I thought Shelton was a great worker. Bobby Lashley, I thought was great in TNA.
Yeah.
But he's not done much for me since he's come back, apart from have the kind of the issue with what's his name?
Rusev?
Yeah, Rusev.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of Miro, but I can't. It did nothing for me.
So overall, then, we're not at all hyped for WrestleMania at all, are we?
Not yet, but this time.
There is, but
if they put some matches out there which are going to be worth watching, but I think with the time we're at, you can't have the big pomp and circumstance like WrestleMania is anyway. So give them, tie it all together and then work from there. It doesn't have to be a major thing because you're not selling to the crowd. People will watch WrestleMania, whether it's it's Hogan farting into a glass. They'll still watch it.
Yeah.
Do you have to have the biggest matches? No, not this year.
If I look at the card that we know of, I am genuinely interested in the SmackDown title picture.
Right.
Just because what happens if Edge loses on one hand, but what happens if Roman Reigns loses? And it's a massive sort of conundrum because either way, unless they do it where it goes to a double count out or a double disqualification or something like that, it could potentially hurt either party to lose. Edge has been, I want to say that he's been phenomenal since he returned, and I think that's partly due to me not believing that Edge is, he's actually back.
Yeah.
We were told that's it, see you later kind of thing. But at the same time, what was the point in him coming back if he's going to lose?
Well, the way I'd work it is I would get one of the family to cost him the championship.
Yeah.
And then to him go absolutely apeshit on the whole family, destroy everyone, and then make him up to be bigger badass than what he is now. And that's the way I do it. If you get one of the Usos out there, or get Alpha or Seeker out there, and cost him the match, and he's in control, and something happens, and they go out there and they cost him the match.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can really do it and make him look like he hasn't lost, and then let him literally go out there and destroy him. Blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Make him look. If they want him to be this kind of head of the table thing, then make him be it.
Yeah.
But that's the only way I can see it working without either man getting. I mean, Edge will be over either way. It won't really matter. But
yeah, I mean,
he'll come out of it over.
I mean, it's going to be great to see Edge in the title picture again because love him or hate him, he was a cracking champion. He really was. But I'm just left with this nagging thing of where does he go from here? If he loses, where does he go? Like, does he go to NXT and try for the NXT title? Well, you shouldn't be in line because you lost. And the same thing can be applied for Raw as well.
Does he go down the tag ranks and work with somebody a bit younger, and it might make more sense for him to do that, and try and push somebody over, and then do the whole turning on partner thing?
Yeah,
can happen.
or
That makes sense.
does he go for the IC Championship again?
But why?
This is the thing.
There'll be no point in storyline mode. There's no point in him going to that because there is. He's been world champion multiple times. Why go for it? At least with the tag team championships, you can go back down there and say, "Look, I've done this before, but I haven't done it for many years now. Can we still do it? Can I get that?" Obviously, if Christian had signed, we could have been seeing that. We could have seen them back in it, not necessarily doing the things they used to do, but they could have been back as a good team to put to be champions, then put somebody else over.
Yeah.
They'd be that stepping stone for teams. But the way the teams run these days, you don't get more than a year or so's run out of a lot of teams, apart from New Day and things.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, and I'm trying to think: is the pay-per-view after WrestleMania Money in the Bank?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting, be interesting to see how that goes and how it plays out. And
they will have plans, I'm sure.
Fingers crossed, but this is Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon constantly changes the plans.
Yeah, who knows?
So, last question now. What are your WrestleMania viewing habits? In the sense of, do you have any rituals that you do beforehand, or do you just go into it as I'll just watch it whenever? Or
I used to always try and watch it live, so I usually get some snacks and a few drinks. Last year was a bottle of Kraken. I don't remember a lot else about it. It was a rough night. But again, this is the start of lockdown where everyone was just depressed as hell.
Yeah.
This year, I probably won't have a drink. I'll just get some snacks in and just enjoy it. It's what it is at the end of the day. It might not be the best card in the world, but it's still WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I'll get some, maybe a vanilla slice and something like that. But it's usually it's just to enjoy it. I think last year's loads of crisps and some chocolate and some drinks, but it's a different world at the moment. So, but usually, I start enjoy watching it with other people, but you can't do that at the moment.
Yeah.
But it's what it is. Hopefully they'll start the WrestleMania parties and things maybe next year again. At some pubs and things and clubs do it. So try and do that. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
Right then. On that note, I think it's a perfect time to end. So, Drewers, again, inform the people where you can be found and where we can listen into your fantastic show.
Yep, no problem. It's channel.Connelli on Facebook, which is CHANNELL, then a dot, and then CONNELLI, and that's on Facebook. You can give us a like on there, and you can get me at Carlos Connelli on Twitter. And if you want to hear the show, which is loads of rock, punk, and alternative, it is 6 till 8 on a Tuesday and a Thursday on Radio D-Side. You can find that on your InTune app, or you can find it on most radio players on the internet, and also on Wonderland Radio, which is WNDRL ND Radio, at 8 till 10 on a Wednesday.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And thank you once again,
not
just for being my guest for 2 episodes, but being the first ever male guest on the show. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I really appreciate it. Massive shout out once again to everyone behind the scenes at the Johners Podcasting Network for making this possible. I hope, as always, that this episode's made you proud. You can find me on social media. Search for Grappuchino on Twitter, and there'll be a link tree to my other socials as well. If you want to send in any topics, anything you want me to discuss, any questions you might ask, or any future guests that you want me to get on, feel free to drop me an email. It's also on my Twitter. It's grappuccinothoughts@gmail.com. And once again, because it is a crazy, crazy time we live in, stay safe, be kind, watch professional wrestling. Much love, guys. Speak to you soon.